If you have had several beers, the effects of alcohol will be reduced only by A. Taking a cold shower. B. Waiting several hours. C. Drinking several cups of coffee. Your license can be suspended if you are under 21 and drive with a blood alcohol level of A. 0.15% or more. B. 0.08% or more. C. Any amount. C. Any amount. There is zero tolerance for alcohol use by drivers under age 21. If you are under 21, the detection of any trace of alcohol in your system will result in stiff penalties, including the suspension of your license for 2 years. Alcohol is A. A stimulant. B. An antihistamine. C. A depressant. C. A depressant. Alcohol is a depressant that dulls your judgment and makes your reflexes unreliable. If you plan to pass another vehicle, you should A. Not assume the other driver will make space for you to return to your lane. B. Assume the other driver will let you pass if you use your turn signal. C. Assume the other driver will maintain a constant speed. A. Not assume the other driver will make space for you to return to your lane. Even when you signal, you should not assume that the space you want to occupy is free or that other drivers will give you the right of way.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When a school bus is stopped on the road ahead to load or unload children, you must A. Come to a complete stop until all the children have left the bus. B. Come to a complete stop until the red lights stop flashing and the stop arm is withdrawn. C. Change lanes, drive slowly, and pass the bus cautiously. B. Come to a complete stop until the red lights stop flashing and the stop arm is withdrawn. When a school bus is stopped on the road ahead with its lights flashing and its stop arm extended, you must come to a complete stop and wait to proceed until the lights have stopped flashing and the stop arm is withdrawn. Even after the bus begins to move again, do not proceed until you are sure there are no children crossing the road ahead of you. When entering the interstate, check for a gap in traffic in the nearest lane, adjust your speed to match traffic, signal, and A. Expect traffic to allow you to proceed into the lane, since you have the right of way. B. Merge carefully into the gap. C. Wait for the lane to clear before merging. You must notify the DMV within 5 days if you A. Are cited for a traffic violation. B. Sell or transfer your vehicle. C. Paint your vehicle a different color. B. Sell or transfer your vehicle. You are required by law to contact the DMV within 5 calendar days from the date you sell or transfer the title of a vehicle to another owner. They must be notified of every title transfer. You are getting ready to make a right turn. You should A. Signal and turn immediately. B. Stop before entering the right lane and let all other traffic go first. C. Slow down or stop, if necessary, and then make the turn. C. Slow down or stop, if necessary, and then make the turn. When making a right turn, you should begin signaling about 100 feet before the turn, reduce your speed, stop behind the limit line, if applicable, and then make the turn. To see objects in their blind spot when changing lanes, drivers should check: A. Only the left outside mirror. B. Over their left or right shoulder. C. Only the inside rearview mirror. B. Over their left or right shoulder. Your vehicle's blind spots are the areas that you cannot see in your mirrors. Look over the appropriate shoulder to check your blind spot when changing lanes. If you are driving near a large commercial vehicle, you should: A. Follow the large vehicle closely to reduce wind drag on your vehicle. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. C. Drive on its right side when on curves and hills. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. Because large commercial vehicles have large blind spots on each side, you should avoid driving beside them for long periods of time. At a crosswalk: A. You must yield to pedestrians. B. Pedestrians must yield to you. C. Construction workers must yield to you. A. You must yield to pedestrians. Pedestrians have the right of way at street crossings but must obey traffic control signals. Where a traffic signal is not present, vehicles must stop for pedestrians in a crosswalk, whether it is marked or unmarked. You are approaching an intersection where a traffic signal is displaying a steady yellow light. If you have not already entered the intersection, you should: A. Speed up to beat the red light. B. Reduce your speed and proceed carefully through the intersection. C. Come to a safe stop. C. Come to a safe stop. At an intersection controlled by a steady yellow light, you should bring your vehicle to a safe stop. If you are already within the intersection when the light changes from green to yellow, continue through the intersection at a safe speed. When changing lanes, you can check your blind spot by: A. Using the inside rearview mirror. B. Turning your head and looking over your shoulder. C. Using your side mirror. B. Turning your head and looking over your shoulder. Even if your vehicle is properly equipped with mirrors, there are blind spots that cannot be seen by using the mirrors. Before changing lanes, look over your shoulder to check these areas. When passing another vehicle, it is safe to return to your lane if you: A. Cannot see the vehicle directly to your right. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. C. Have passed the other vehicle's front bumper. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. Before returning to your original lane after passing, you must make sure you are not dangerously close to the vehicle you have just passed. When you can see both of the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror, you may have enough room to return to the lane. If you pass a school bus that is stopped with its red lights flashing, you will: A. Be fined up to $1,000. B. Be fined up to $100. C. Face no legal consequences. A. Be fined up to $1,000. Drivers must come to a complete stop when approaching a school bus stopped with its red lights flashing. Failure to stop until the red lights stop flashing may result in license suspension and a fine of up to $1,000. For which of the following traffic lights must you always stop your vehicle? A. Solid red lights, flashing red lights, and blacked-out traffic signals. B. Solid red lights, red arrows, and flashing yellow lights. C. Solid red lights, flashing red lights, and yellow lights. Use your headlights on rainy, snowy, or foggy days. A. To keep your engine warm. B. So others can see your vehicle. C. To warn others of bad weather conditions. B. So others can see your vehicle. On rainy, snowy, or foggy days, it may be difficult for other drivers to see your vehicle. Under these conditions, headlights make your vehicle easier to see. If the weather requires you to turn on your windshield wipers, you must also turn on your low-beam headlights. Always use your seat belt. A. Unless the vehicle was built before 1978. B. Unless you are in a limousine. C. When the vehicle is equipped with seat belts. C. When the vehicle is equipped with seat belts. Use of seat belts is required for the driver and all passengers, including children who are over 8 years old or are at least 4 feet 9 inches tall. You must wear seat belts and shoulder harnesses even if the vehicle has airbags. If your vehicle is equipped with separate lap and shoulder belts, you must use both. There are oncoming vehicles to your left and a row of parked vehicles to your right. You should steer A. Closer to the oncoming vehicles than the parked vehicles. B. Closer to the parked vehicles than the oncoming vehicles. C. A middle course between the oncoming and parked vehicles. C. A middle course between the oncoming and parked vehicles. If there are oncoming vehicles to your left and a row of parked vehicles to your right, the best thing to do is to split the difference. Steer a middle course between the oncoming cars and the parked cars. You must obey instructions from school crossing guards. A. At all times. B. Only during school hours. C. Unless you do not see any children present. A. At all times. Drivers should be alert to the presence of crossing guards when near a school and must always obey their instructions. You can drive off the road to pass another vehicle. A. If the vehicle ahead is turning left. B. If there are 2 or more lanes traveling in your direction. C. Under no circumstances. C. Under no circumstances. You may never drive off the paved or main traveled portion of the road and onto the shoulder to pass another vehicle. When turning left at an intersection. A. You should always yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. B. Oncoming traffic and pedestrians should yield to you. C. You should never yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. A. You should always yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. When turning left at an intersection, yield the right-of-way to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. Once the intersection is clear and applicable signals allow, you may complete the turn. Fines in a construction zone are A. Doubled. B. Tripled. C. Cut in half. A. Doubled. Fines for moving traffic violations are doubled in highway construction or maintenance zones where workers are present. When operating in a construction zone, you must drive carefully and follow all directions provided by signs, signals, officers, and flaggers. If you are facing a green traffic light but the intersection ahead is blocked by traffic, you should A. Turn left and find another route. B. Stay out of the intersection until traffic clears. C. Follow the other vehicles and enter the intersection. B. Stay out of the intersection until traffic clears. Even if you are facing a green traffic light, do not start across the intersection if there are other vehicles blocking your way. If you are caught in the intersection when the light changes to red, your vehicle will block cross traffic. You can get a ticket for blocking an intersection. If pedestrians are illegally crossing in the middle of the street instead of in a crosswalk, you A. Must stop for them. B. Do not have to stop for them. C. Should honk your horn at them. A. Must stop for them. You must yield to pedestrians at all times. If the pedestrians are jaywalking or crossing the street where they should not be, you must still stop for them. A flashing red traffic light at an intersection means A. Slow down before entering. B. Stop before entering. C. Stop and wait for the green light. B. Stop before entering. A flashing red signal means stop. After coming to a stop, you may proceed once it is safe, observing all right-of-way rules. When planning to pass another vehicle, you should A. Not count on other drivers to make room for you. B. Assume the driver will let you pass if you use your turn signal. C. Assume the driver will maintain a constant speed. A. Not count on other drivers to make room for you. When planning to pass, do not count on having enough time to pass several vehicles at once or assume that other drivers will make room for you. When you can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror, you may have enough room to return to your driving lane. This sign means A. Road construction, maintenance area. B. Side road. C. Railroad ahead. A. Road construction, maintenance area. Diamond-shaped signs are used to warn of actual or possible hazards. The color orange is used for warning signs usually found in construction or maintenance areas. You may pass a vehicle when A. You are on a hill or curve. B. You are on a road with a solid line next to your lane. C. You are on a road with a broken line next to your lane. C. You are on a road with a broken line next to your lane. A single broken line indicates that drivers may cross from either lane to change lanes. Dashed yellow lines alongside solid yellow lines indicate that passing is permitted from the lane next to the broken line, but not from the lane next to the solid line. Only change lanes when it is safe to do so. You must file a report of a traffic accident occurring in California when A. Your vehicle fails a smog test. B. You are involved in a collision and there is an injury. C. You change your insurance company. B. You are involved in a collision and there is an injury. When you have a collision, report it to DMV within 10 days if anyone was injured, no matter how slightly, or killed. You or your representative must make this report whether or not you caused the collision, even if the collision occurred on private property. When entering traffic after being parked at a curb, you A. Should drive more slowly than other traffic for 200 feet. B. Should wait for a large enough gap to get up to the speed of traffic. C. Should wait for the first two vehicles to pass, then drive into the lane. B. Should wait for a large enough gap to get up to the speed of traffic. Any time that you merge into city or highway traffic, you should wait for a gap in traffic large enough for your vehicle to get up to the speed of other traffic. Which of the following statements is true? A. Driving too slowly is not an unsafe practice. B. Driving too slowly on certain highways can be dangerous. C. The speed at which you drive a vehicle does not affect safety. B. Driving too slowly on certain highways can be dangerous. Driving too slowly can be dangerous because it may cause drivers behind you to become frustrated and make dangerous moves to pass you. It is safest to drive with the flow of traffic, within the legal speed limit. If you have a green light but traffic is blocking the intersection, you should A. Stay out of the intersection until traffic clears. B. Enter the intersection and wait until traffic clears. C. Merge into another lane and try to go around the traffic. A. Stay out of the intersection until traffic clears. Even if your traffic light is green, you must not enter an intersection unless you can get completely across the intersection before the light turns red. If you block the intersection, you can be cited. In a vehicle equipped with airbags, the safest place for children age 12 and under to ride is in A. The front seat. B. The back seat. C. The bed of a pickup truck. B. The back seat. While airbags provide supplemental protection for adults in the event of a crash, they pose a severe safety risk for children. Anyone age 12 or under should sit in the back seat of a vehicle with airbags. Drivers must use their seat belt. A. Unless they are driving a vehicle built before 1978. B. Unless they are driving a limousine. C. And failure to do so will result in a traffic ticket. C. And failure to do so will result in a traffic ticket. Drivers must always wear seat belts and may be cited for failure to do so. If you drive more slowly than the flow of traffic, you will most likely A. Interfere with traffic and receive a ticket. B. Improve traffic flow. C. Demonstrate defensive driving techniques. A. Interfere with traffic and receive a ticket. You must drive more slowly than usual when there is heavy traffic or bad weather. However, if you block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic by driving too slowly, you may be cited. You should match the speed of traffic, unless the speed of traffic exceeds the legal speed limit. What does this road sign mean? A. Be ready to merge with traffic entering your lane. B. Always stop. C. Divided highway ahead. A. Be ready to merge with traffic entering your lane. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns that merging traffic will be entering from the right, so drivers should prepare to allow the incoming traffic to safely merge. While driving at night, a vehicle coming toward you has its high beams on, making it hard for you to see the road ahead. You should A. Look ahead toward the left edge of your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. C. Look straight ahead in your lane. B. Look ahead toward the right edge of your lane. If an oncoming driver fails to dim their high beams, you should avoid looking directly at the headlights. Instead, look toward the right edge of your lane and watch the oncoming vehicle out of the corner of your eye. Just like alcohol and other drugs, drowsiness can A. Help you to be a better driver. B. Make you feel better. C. Impair your judgment. C. Impair your judgment. Not getting enough sleep is a cause of poor driving behavior. Just like drugs and alcohol, sleepiness slows reaction time, decreases awareness, and impairs judgment. If you are convicted of driving with an excessive blood alcohol concentration, BAC, you may be sentenced to serve A. Up to 6 months in jail. B. Up to 12 months in jail. C. No jail time, but you must pay a fine of $500. A. Up to 6 months in jail. If you are convicted of DUI for the first time and you have an excessive BAC level, you may be sentenced to serve up to 6 months in jail and may be required to pay a fine between $390 and $1,000. Your vehicle may be impounded and is subject to storage fees. You want to make a right turn at an upcoming intersection. You should slow down and A. Move toward the left side of your lane. B. Avoid driving in the bicycle lane. C. Signal for 100 feet before turning. C. Signal for 100 feet before turning. When making a right turn, you should begin signaling about 100 feet before the turn. If you hit an animal with your vehicle while driving on a California highway, you should A. Move the injured animal off the road. B. Call the Humane Society. C. Continue driving. B. Call the Humane Society. If you injure or kill an animal on the roadway, you should call CHP, the nearest Humane Society, or the police. You should not leave the animal to die or try to move the animal. When you see this sign, you A. Are approaching a railroad crossing and should prepare to stop. B. Will always stop at the upcoming railroad crossing. C. Should stop and wait for a signal before crossing the railroad tracks. A. Are approaching a railroad crossing and should prepare to stop. This sign indicates that you are approaching a railroad crossing. You must look, listen, slow down, and prepare to stop. Wait for any trains to pass before you proceed. A solid yellow arrow on a traffic signal means A. You should speed up so you can make the turn before the light changes. B. You do not need to signal to turn from the indicated lane. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. C. You should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic. A solid yellow arrow means that the protection of a green arrow is ending. If you are turning in the direction of the arrow, you should prepare to stop and yield the right of way to oncoming traffic before turning. This sign means A. Divided highway. B. Railroad warning. C. No passing zone. A. Divided highway. This sign indicates that a divided highway begins ahead. Only fill in the blank. can lower blood alcohol concentration, BAC, and reduce alcohol's effects on a body. A. Drinking caffeine. B. Eating foods high in fat. C. Time. C. Time. The only way to sober up after drinking alcohol is to allow time for your body to eliminate the alcohol in your system. Nothing you can do, including eating and drinking, can accelerate this process.